Beloved soul, I ask you, what invisible word have you been speaking over your life, the word of fear or the word of faith? For your spoken word is the rod of Moses that parts the Red Sea of obstacles, or it is the chain that binds you in Egypt's bondage. Life does not give you what you wish, nor what you worry over. It gives you what you decree. The ancient law is written, thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. Job 22:28. The universe is but a mirror to your thought, an obedient servant to your command. When you speak the word of lack, lack hastens to your door. When you speak the word of abundance, the floodgates of heaven swing wide, and substance rushes forth. Do you not see that the world itself was spoken into being? And God said, let there be light, and there was light. If the Almighty created worlds with a word, then surely your little world can be healed, supplied, and multiplied by the power of your tongue. The tongue is your magic wand, and fear is the poison that breaks the spell. You have been hypnotized by appearances, chained by the lies of fear, bowed beneath the false god of lack. Yet I tell you this day, fear is nothing, a shadow without life, a phantom without law. Fear blocks wealth, but faith dissolves the shadow. Faith is the key that opens the vaults of heaven, and by the word spoken in boldness, you command substance to appear. Therefore I say unto you, cast out the word of fear, and speak the word of faith. Dare to speak it now, not tomorrow, not in some vague future, but this very hour. For wealth is not afar off, it waits in the unseen, eager for your command. When you speak the word becomes flesh, and substance follows swiftly, as surely as night follows day. So I ask you again, what word will you speak today? Fear or faith? Poverty or plenty? Death or life? The choice lies not in the stars, nor in fate, nor in the world of men. It lies upon your lips. Speak the word, and your world changes. Now, beloved soul, if you are ready to cast aside fear and call forth abundance with the word of power, then stay with me in this sacred journey, and together we shall walk through the law that never fails. And before we begin, touch this message with faith. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and declare in the comments below, I choose faith, and wealth now flows to me by divine right. The Word is the beginning of all beginnings. In the Gospel of John it is written, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What does this reveal, beloved soul? That the spoken word is not mere sound, not idle air, not wasted breath. It is divine substance, clothed in vibration, creative as fire, certain as law. The word is the architect of your destiny, the seed of all manifestation, the very tool by which you build or destroy your world. Every utterance is a prophecy. Every syllable spoken is a decree sent forth into the ethers, returning with its harvest. If your harvest has been bitter, it is because you have sown bitter words. If your field is barren, it is because your tongue has spoken desolation. Yet behold, the same tongue may speak abundance, joy, and victory, and the barren field shall blossom as the rose. The ancient prophets knew this power. Isaiah declared, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. Do you see the law? The word never returns empty. It fulfills itself unfailingly. The universe is a faithful servant to the decree of man, whether man speaks in ignorance or in wisdom. The law is impersonal. It is exact. It gives you back your own word. This is why the Master Jesus warned, by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. Not by circumstances, not by heredity, not by fate, but by words. Words are the unseen judges standing in your life as angels or as accusers. Let me tell you a story of a man who knew this law. Thomas Edison, mocked and ridiculed, stumbled again and again in his search for the electric light, yet he never spoke defeat. When asked if he had failed thousands of times, he replied, I have not failed. I have simply found 10,000 ways that do not work. You see, his word was not failure, but discovery. And discovery led him at last to victory, and the darkness of the world was lifted by his faith-filled decree. Now let us take the example of Andrew Carnegie, a man who rose from poverty to wealth beyond imagination. He held one vision, and he spoke one decree. All riches are within the grasp of him who knows the law. And he proved it, not only for himself, but for multitudes, inspiring young Napoleon Hill to write the truth of Think and Grow Rich, which has awakened millions. It was a word spoken, and that word became flesh. Fear, however, blocks the word as a stone dam blocks a river. The fearful word is a curse that returns with multiplied harvest. The man who cries, I cannot, finds every door shut. The woman who sighs, I am always poor, lives beneath the shadow of want. For life listens to their decree and says, so be it. Do you not see, dear soul, why your world appears as it does? It is your word made visible. The law of electricity was always present, waiting for man to speak the word of discovery. The law of flight was always present, waiting for the Wright brothers to say, "We will fly." The law of wealth is ever present, waiting for you to declare, "Riches now flow to me, for I am one with the inexhaustible substance of the universe." Say it and keep saying it, for your word builds substance as a mason lays brick upon brick until the temple stands complete. I tell you, nothing can resist the spoken word when it is charged with faith. For faith is the fire that ignites the word, and without faith, the word lies cold and lifeless. It is written, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Your faith gives body to your decree, clothing it with substance, pressing it into manifestation. So I say unto you, guard your tongue, for it is the rudder of your destiny. Speak not idle words of fear, complaint, or doubt, for every idle word is a seed. Sow only the seed you wish to reap. Declare boldly, I am a child of the Most High, heir to every good and perfect gift. Abundance flows to me, doors fly open, right opportunities appear. By divine right, I prosper now. When you speak thus, you align with the law that cannot fail. You set in motion forces unseen, angels of supply, channels of opportunity, currents of substance that hasten to obey your decree. Speak the word, and your world changes. Speak it again, and mountains move. Speak it continually, and your life becomes a garden overflowing with the fruits of heaven. Now hear this parable of truth. A woman once came to me, bound in poverty, fearful and weary. She said, I have nothing, I am in debt, I see no way out. And I answered, You have spoken the word of bondage, speak now the word of freedom. She began to declare each morning, I am rich, for my God supplies all my needs. I am free, for Christ in me is my sufficiency. Within weeks, opportunities opened, debts dissolved, and she stood in liberty. What changed? Only the word. The same world, the same woman, but a new decree, and the law fulfilled itself. Beloved, you too may stand in that liberty. Your tongue is the key. Your decree is the law. Speak poverty and you remain poor. Speak wealth and you attract the riches that already await you in the unseen. Consider the child who plays in the dust, shaping castles of sand with eager hands. Though the tide may rise and wash away his work, still he builds again, laughing with faith that the sea cannot take his joy. That child is closer to heaven's law than the adult who frets. What is the use? All will be lost. For the child speaks life, and the adult speaks death. Christ said, Except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Why? Because the child speaks without fear, trusts without resistance, and believes with unclouded vision. The word you speak is not alone. It is accompanied by the tone, the spirit, the faith behind it. Many cry prayers of desperation, laced with fear, and wonder why heaven is silent. Yet a simple decree of faith, uttered once with conviction, moves mountains more swiftly than 1,000 petitions born of doubt. Your words are seeds, and faith is the rain that waters them. Without rain, the seed lies dormant. With faith, the seed bursts forth in life. Let us recall Walt Disney, the dreamer who saw kingdoms where others saw swamps. Men scoffed, bankers refused him, critics laughed. Yet his word was unwavering. It can be done. And the barren land blossomed into kingdoms of joy, and his vision became the delight of nations. He spoke it, and it was so. Fear, however, is the robber of substance. Fear says, what if I fail? Faith says, what if I succeed beyond measure? Fear says, it is too late. Faith says, God's timing is perfect, and he is never late. Fear builds prisons. Faith opens gates. Fear blocks wealth, but faith attracts it as the magnet draws iron. Dr. Frank Crane wrote, Our best friends and our worst enemies are our thoughts. A thought can make us or unmake us. How much more the spoken word, which is thought clothed in vibration, launched into the atmosphere as a living decree. When you speak fear, you send forth invisible armies to bring you the very thing you dread. Job confessed, The thing which I greatly feared is come upon me. But when you speak faith, you send forth legions of light to bring you joy, health, and prosperity. A woman once told me, I always expect the worst, so I will not be disappointed, and I replied, Then you will always receive the worst, for expectation is a magnet, and your words are a decree. She laughed in scorn, yet soon after, her fears were fulfilled, and she came back in tears. I said to her, Now change your word, expect only the best, and declare it. She obeyed reluctantly, yet within months, the tide turned, and her life was renewed. You see, the law works whether or not you believe it. The law of electricity lights the house of him who understands it, and it shocks the man who plays with it in ignorance. The law of words works for the wise and against the foolish, for the law is impersonal, exact, unchanging. Thomas Troward declared, "The word is creative, and the word is law." He saw clearly that the universe itself is mind in motion, and that man, made in the image of God, holds the same creative power. The word you speak is the seed, and the universal mind is the fertile soil. Whatsoever seed you plant, the soil brings forth abundantly. I tell you plainly, wealth is not something you must chase. Wealth is the shadow of your word. If you speak abundance, abundance follows as a servant follows his master. If you speak lack, lack clings to you as a shadow to the body. Turn the word and the shadow changes. Speak, and the world obeys. Consider the words of Christian D. Larson. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. This something is the Christ within, the Word made flesh, the divine presence that speaks through your tongue when you yield it to faith. When you speak in union with this presence, you speak with authority, and mountains dissolve into dust. A man once stood before me, trembling with fear of failure. His business was sinking, debts were rising, and creditors pressed upon him. He said, "I am ruined." I answered, "Then ruined you shall be, for your word has decreed it. Reverse your decree, speak abundance, and abundance will answer." He hesitated, but at last he declared, "God is my supply, God is my banker, God is my partner in this business." Day by day he repeated it, though appearances mocked him. Yet the law is sure. New contracts arrived, debts were paid, and his business prospered as never before. You may ask, but is it not a lie to say I am rich when I see only poverty? Is it not falsehood to speak abundance when my purse is empty? No, beloved, it is truth. For truth is not what appears. Truth is what God decrees. The appearance of lack is the shadow of fear. The decree of wealth is the light of truth. Speak the light, and the shadow flees. Ella Wheeler. Wilcox wrote, "The words you speak today should be soft and tender, for tomorrow you may have to eat them. Eat words of poverty, and they turn to bitterness in your soul. Eat words of faith, and they are honey to your lips. Let your words be sweet with truth, bold with faith, strong with vision. Let them prophesy abundance until the very walls echo with supply." Think of Swami Vivekananda, who stood in Chicago at the Parliament of Religions and declared with fiery word the oneness of all souls. His words thundered across the nations, and the East and West were joined in a new vision. One man, one word, yet nations shifted. How much more can you shift the small circumstances of your life when you dare to speak the word of faith? The word is power. The word is prophecy. The word is wealth. Speak it, and it is so. Deny it, and you remain bound. Your freedom lies not in money, nor in men, nor in governments, but in the word you dare to speak today. Man was given dominion, and that dominion is expressed through the word. Dominion is not brute force, nor struggle, nor the weary climbing of human ambition. Dominion is the still small voice that declares with calm authority, "Peace, be still." And the storm obeys. Dominion is the word spoken in alignment with the infinite, the decree uttered in union with God's law, the command of the Christ within that subdues appearances and reveals heaven on earth. G.I. Gurdjieff spoke of man as a sleeping being, hypnotized by habits, unaware of his creative word. And truly it is so. For men speak death and wonder why they see decay, they speak lack and wonder why their purse is empty, they speak fear and wonder why they tremble. They are asleep to the power of their own tongue. But when the soul awakens, when the scales fall from the eyes, the man remembers, I am a co-creator with God. My word is law, my decree is destiny, and he speaks not idly, but with holy power. Remember, beloved, when Jesus stood before the tomb of Lazarus, he did not weep long prayers of fear. He did not struggle with appearances. He spoke a simple word, Lazarus, come forth, and life answered. That same authority is in you if you will but speak the word without doubt, without wavering, knowing that heaven and earth will pass away, but the word shall not pass away until it is fulfilled. Now imagine your wealth, your supply, your abundance as Lazarus, bound and hidden in the tomb of fear. You have buried your prosperity beneath words of doubt, laid stones of unbelief over the door, and mourned as if wealth were dead. But I say unto you, stand at the mouth of that tomb and cry with the authority of faith. Prosperity, come forth. Speak it until the stone is rolled away. Speak it until the grave clothes fall. Speak it until abundance walks alive in your world. Napoleon Hill, taught by Carnegie, declared that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. The conception is thought, the belief is faith, but the achievement comes by the spoken decree. To conceive in silence is to plant the seed, but to speak in faith is to water it until it bears fruit. Carl Jung wrote of the shadow, the unconscious fear that binds man unseen. But I tell you, the shadow has no substance before the spoken word of light. When you declare, I am fearless, for God is my strength, the shadow flees. When you declare, I am supplied, for my source is infinite, the shadow dissolves. The word is the torch that illumines the darkness of the subconscious, and by it you set yourself free. A man once told me, I dare not speak wealth, for what if it does not come, and I am made a fool? I replied, you are already made a fool by fear, for fear is falsehood. Better to be a fool for faith than a king in bondage to doubt. Speak boldly, and let the law prove itself. He obeyed. He began declaring, by divine right, I am prospered. And doors opened, contracts flowed, and his life was transformed. Beloved soul, the universe is a grand phonograph, playing back to you the record of your own words. If the tune is discordant, change the record. Speak new words, and life sings new songs. Say with me now, I am one with the infinite riches of God. Wealth flows to me, wealth surrounds me, wealth serves me. I am fearless, for my supply is eternal. Do not whisper it, speak it aloud, for the vibration of your voice sets in motion currents of unseen power. Annie Ricks Millets taught that words are reservoirs of power. Each syllable you speak is a vessel filled with the energy of creation. Fill it with faith, and it overflows with life. Fill it with fear, and it spills poison into your world. Choose this day what you will pour into your words. Choose life, that you may live. Even the skeptic, even the hardened materialist cannot escape this law. For the man who says, I am always sick, proves his word. The man who says, I never succeed, fulfills his prophecy. The man who mocks faith and declares, there is no power in words, finds his life empty of miracles, because his word has decreed it so. Yet even he, when in desperation he cries, God help me, and believes, finds heaven's gates swing wide. The law is no respecter of persons, it answers whosoever will believe. I remember a young artist, starving in New York, ready to abandon his dream. He said to me, it is useless, no one buys my work. I am defeated. I answered, change your word. Declare, I have a market for my talents. My work is divinely appointed and richly rewarded. He obeyed with trembling lips. Soon, an unexpected patron appeared, commissions flowed, and his art was displayed where once he was ignored. What changed? Only the word, the same brush, the same canvas, the same hands, but a new decree. Ernest Holmes declared, change your thinking, change your life. But I add, change your speaking, and your world transforms with lightning speed. For thought is the silent mold, but word is the hammer that strikes the molten substance of spirit into visible form. Beloved, the time for idle words is past. The time for fearful decrees is ended. The hour has come to speak with authority, to call forth your wealth, to summon your health, to decree your freedom. Say it now. I am free, I am wealthy, I am fearless, I am fulfilled. My word is law, and it shall not return void. The spirit moves swiftly when man dares to speak as if the promise were already fulfilled, for the universe does not wait for years of toil, nor does it weigh your past mistakes. It responds instantly to the living word. Say it now. It is done. It is finished. My wealth appears. And though appearances may lag behind, the word has already gone forth, and nothing can prevent its harvest. Remember how the widow of Zarephath, in famine and despair, was gathering sticks for a final meal. Yet Elijah spoke the word. The barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth. And as she obeyed, the word fulfilled itself. Her supply was multiplied day by day. She lived by the decree of a prophet. And you too, live by the decree of your tongue, for every word is a prophecy. Some say, but I have spoken faith, and nothing happened. Yet I tell you, the word is like seed hidden beneath the soil. It germinates unseen, it breaks the ground in silence, but at the appointed hour, it springs forth. The farmer does not dig up his seed in doubt, crying, why have you not grown? He trusts the law. So must you trust the law of the spoken word. Speak and stand, declare and rest. Your harvest is certain, though unseen. Do not think you must persuade God. The infinite is already willing. The infinite is already supply. God is not withholding. Your own word has been the dam that blocks the river. You pray for rain while cursing the clouds with words of unbelief. You plead for bread while declaring famine with words of fear. But the moment you align your speech with truth, the floodgates open, and heaven's substance pours forth. Orison Swett Marden, whose words ignited the fires of ambition in countless souls, wrote that, "There is no medicine like hope, no tonic so powerful as expectation of tomorrow. And I say, hope is the silent thought, but expectation is the spoken decree. When you say, good comes to me now, my supply is sure. I expect miracles. You draw the future into the present, and your tomorrow arrives today." Many cry, but I must be practical. What is practical, beloved? To speak fear, which always fails. To declare lack, which always binds. The only practicality is faith, for faith always produces. The man who dares to say, we shall build a railroad across the continent, though mountains and deserts stand in his way, is called impractical. Yet the tracks are laid, and trains thunder across the land, because a word was spoken in faith. Say with me, by divine right, I claim abundance. By divine right, I claim freedom. By divine right, I claim joy. All that is mine by inheritance comes to me swiftly, perfectly, and without resistance. Let that word echo within you until it becomes flesh. For the law is simple, you can have what you say. There was once a merchant ruined by fire. His store was ashes, his fortune gone. Men pitied him, but he laughed and said, I will rebuild greater than before. And so it was. His laughter was faith. His decree was wealth. Out of ashes rose abundance, for he spoke not of ruin, but of resurrection. Even as Christ arose from the tomb, so shall your prosperity arise from the ashes of fear when you speak the resurrection word. Say, though appearances be ashes, my wealth is risen. Though my purse seems empty, my treasure is full. Though my table seems bare, my feast is prepared. And so it will be. A woman once spoke continually of her illness. Every day she declared her weakness, and her friends heard nothing but her complaints. I said to her, you are building a monument to disease with every word. Turn your decree. She began reluctantly to say, I am whole, I am strong, I am well. At first it seemed a lie to her lips, but as she persisted, strength returned, color flushed her face, and life triumphed. She had spoken herself into bondage, and by new words, she spoke herself free. So it is with wealth. Speak poverty, and you bind you. Self. Speak riches, and you release the flood. Words are the keys that lock or unlock the treasure house. Fear blocks wealth, faith attracts it. Let us not forget the words of Scripture. Let the weak say, I am strong. It does not say, let the weak confess weakness. It commands the weak to speak strength. Why? Because the decree transforms the condition. In the same way, let the poor say, I am rich. Let the fearful say, I am fearless. Let the bound say, I am free, and the law will fulfill the word. I recall a man who never spoke of money without sighing. It goes as fast as it comes. And truly it did. The law was exact. Another man said, money comes to me easily and often. And so it was. The law was exact. The same law, 2 decrees, 2 outcomes. Which will you choose? Beloved, stop speaking curses upon your own harvest. Stop saying, I cannot afford it. Stop declaring, I am always unlucky. These words are chains. Break them now. Replace them with decrees of abundance. Say, I can afford all that I desire, for my supply is God Himself. I am lucky, for divine favor follows me. My good now rushes to me in avalanches of abundance. Say it daily, say it boldly, and watch the tide turn. You may recall the story of Joseph, sold into slavery, cast into prison, yet lifted to the throne of Egypt. Why? Because he never spoke bitterness. His word was vision. His dream was decree. He declared, God meant it unto good. And out of betrayal came blessing. Out of bondage came rulership. The law fulfilled his word. So too shall your betrayals, your losses, your failures be turned into triumph if you speak rightly. Declare, what was meant for evil is turned to good. What I lost returns multiplied. What I feared is dissolved and only good remains. Your enemies become your servants. Your obstacles become your stepping stones. Remember, beloved, you are never a victim of circumstances, only of your own word. Life echoes what you declare. Speak bondage, and life echoes chains. Speak freedom, and life echoes wings. Now I ask you, what word will you speak this very day? Will you continue to say, I cannot, I have not, I am not? Or will you rise in faith and decree, I can, I have, I am? For your tomorrow waits upon your answer. Say it now, as if heaven itself leaned close to hear. I am rich, I am fearless, I am divinely supplied. My word changes my world, and my world now overflows with wealth. Let that decree go forth. It shall not return void. It shall accomplish that which you please. It shall prosper in the thing whereto you send it. Beloved, the law is exact. Fear blocks wealth, but faith attracts it. Your word is your wand, your staff of Moses, your rod of authority. Lift it high, and the Red Sea of lack shall part before you. Strike the rock, and water shall gush forth. Speak the word, and your world shall change. And now, if these words have stirred your soul, if you are ready to cast out fear and speak forth faith, then take this step of faith with me. Speak aloud in the comments below. I choose faith. I choose abundance. I choose the word of power. And if this message has lit a fire in your heart, then let your action match your decree. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it, that others too may awaken to the law that never fails. For the word is power, the word is prophecy, the word is wealth. Speak it, and it is so. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Faith is the alchemy that transmutes words into flesh, decrees into substance, prayers into manifestation. Without faith, the word is a shadow without body, a seed without water, a bow without arrow. With faith, the smallest decree shakes mountains and splits seas. If ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. The law of faith is the law of a sure ants, the law of vision beyond sight, the law that dares to stand in the furnace and say, Though the flames roar, I am untouched. The 3 Hebrew children walked in fire and were not burned, for their faith clothed them in a garment no flame could consume. So too does faith clothe your word with substance that cannot be denied, cannot be delayed, cannot be destroyed. The mind of fear is restless, doubting, shifting as the waves of the sea. The man of fear prays with one breath and cancels with the next, saying, I believe, but what if? James wrote, A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. But the man of faith is still, steady, anchored in certainty. His word goes forth as a soldier, and it returns with the spoil. Think of Abraham, called to leave his country, his kindred, his father's house, to go to a land he had never seen. He went forth not knowing whither, yet he believed the word, and his faith was counted unto him for righteousness. He became the father of nations, not by toil, not by scheme, but by faith. He staggered not at the promise of God through unbelief, but was strong in faith, giving glory to God, and so the promise was fulfilled. Faith does not argue with appearances. Faith does not bow to conditions. Faith says, Though the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, the labor of the olive shall fail, and the fields shall yield no meat. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord, I will joy in the God of my salvation. And in rejoicing, faith calls forth the harvest from barren fields. Andrew Carnegie once said, You cannot push anyone up the ladder unless he is willing to climb. And I say, you cannot rise into abundance unless you are willing to climb the ladder of faith. Fear sits at the bottom rung, staring at the heights and trembling. Faith places one foot above the other, saying, I shall arrive. And before long, the summit is reached. Faith is not struggle. Faith is not tense effort. Faith is rest. Faith is calm assurance. The farmer plants his seed and sleeps knowing the law will not fail. He does not dig each day to see if the seed grows. He trusts the unseen process. So too must you rest in faith, knowing that once your word is spoken in truth, the law is set in motion, and the result is inevitable. Walt Disney stood before bankers who sneered, before skeptics who mocked, yet his faith in his vision was unshaken. He declared, It can be done, and his decree clothed itself in castles and kingdoms, laughter and joy. Faith gave flesh to his dream. Dr. Frank Crane wrote, You may be deceived if you trust too much, but you will live in torment if you do not trust enough. Better to trust and see miracles than to doubt and see nothing. Faith is the key that opens heaven's storehouse. Doubt is the thief that slams the door shut. A woman once said to me, I cannot believe, for appearances are too strong. I answered, Then you worship appearances as your God. But I say, appearances are lies, shadows without life. Only truth is substance. Believe truth, and appearances will change. Believe appearances, and truth cannot reach you. She chose to believe truth, and her life was transformed. Remember the words of Ernest Holmes. Faith is not only a subjective state of mind, it is a positive mental attitude which attracts the desired condition. Faith is a magnet. Faith is a law of attraction. Faith draws to you the very thing you decree. Speak in faith, and your word rushes into form. Speak in doubt, and your word returns barren. Carl Jung declared that, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And I add, until you make your faith stronger than your fear, you will live in bondage and call it reality. Fate is nothing but fear spoken. Destiny is faith decreed. Napoleon Hill wrote, "What the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Notice, it is not only conception, but belief. The dreamer conceives, but the believer achieves. Without faith, the dream perishes in the cradle. With faith, it grows into empire. Say with me now, I have faith, unshakable and unbreakable. I trust the law. I rest in divine supply. My word is charged with faith, and my decree manifests swiftly, perfectly, and in right order. Let that be your confession day and night. Let it be your shield, your song, your strong tower. A man once told me, I have spoken prosperity, but I see none. I said, then your words were shells without fire. You uttered syllables, but not faith. Charge your word with faith and it will explode into substance. He obeyed. He spoke again, this time with conviction, with certainty, with fire, and prosperity hastened to him. Faith is the oil that keeps the lamp burning. Without oil, the flame dies. Without faith, the word fades. Be as the wise virgins who kept oil in their lamps, waiting for the bridegroom. Keep faith in your heart, and your word will shine even in the midnight hour. Ella Wheeler Wilcox wrote, there is no chance, no destiny, no fate that can hinder or control the firm resolve of a determined soul. And I tell you, faith is that firm resolve. Faith is the soul's determination that God's promise is true, appearances are false, and the word shall not fail. One of my students was long unemployed. He declared each day, I cannot find work. I said, reverse your word, say instead, divine activity works through me, the perfect position seeks me now. He laughed at first, but in obedience he spoke it daily. Soon, a position found him, with greater pay and joy than he had imagined. Faith spoke, and manifestation followed. Beloved, do not measure faith by feelings. Faith is not emotion. Faith is decision. Faith is choosing to agree with God's word against all appearances. Faith says, let God be true, and every man a liar. Faith says, I believe, though sight denies. Faith says, I know my supply is sure, though my purse is empty. I know my healing is done, though pain remains. I know my freedom is real, though chains still rattle. And as faith holds fast, appearances dissolve, and truth stands revealed. Swami Vivekananda thundered, all power is within you. You can do anything and everything. Believe in that. Do not believe you are weak. This is faith. To know your oneness with the infinite. To trust that the power which created stars flows through your veins. Faith is not passive. Faith acts. Faith builds the ark before the rain. Faith steps into the Jordan before the waters part. Faith sets the table though no food is seen. Faith prepares the nursery before the child is born. Act as if it were so, and it shall be so. Now hear this, fear and faith cannot dwell together. One must go. Fear tolerated is faith strangled. Faith enthroned is fear banished. Choose this day whom you will serve. Serve fear, and you inherit lack. Serve faith, and you inherit abundance. Declare now, I choose faith. I walk by faith and not by sight. My words are charged with faith, and my world obeys. All doors open, all supply appears, all blessings flow, for I live in faith. Beloved soul, faith is not afar off, it is not hidden in mountains nor buried in seas. The word is nigh thee, even in thy mouth, and in thy heart. Speak it, believe it, stand upon it. For fear blocks wealth, but faith brings it in torrents. And now, if this revelation has strengthened your spirit, take this step of faith. Speak aloud in the comments below. I choose faith and my abundance appears now. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this message, that faith may rise in many hearts, and the floodgates of supply swing wide. For the law is unbreakable. By faith, the word becomes flesh. Speak it, believe it, stand in it, and it is so. Vision is the eye of faith, the inner sight that beholds what the outer eye denies. Vision is the womb of creation, the invisible sketch from which the world takes form. Without vision, the people perish. Without vision, words are scattered and powerless, for the word must be clothed in image, and the image must be charged with faith. The universe responds not only to the sound of your decree, but to the picture you hold within. It is written of Abraham, lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it. The promise was not limited by Abraham's feet, but by his eyes. What he could see inwardly, he could inherit outwardly. So too with you. Your inheritance is as vast as your vision. See little, receive little. See much, receive much. The man without vision stumbles in circles, repeating failures, trapped in the prison of appearances. He sees only lack, only bondage, only shadows, and so his world reflects it. But the man of vision beholds abundance even in famine, liberty even in chains, joy even in sorrow, and so his world bends to his sight. Vision is the architect of destiny. Thomas Edison saw light in the darkness long before the filament glowed. He held the image through thousands of experiments, failed. His outer eyes saw broken glass and useless wires, but his inner vision beheld illumination. And so the world itself was transformed by one man's sight. Andrew Carnegie saw steel bridges arching across rivers, towers rising into skies, while others saw only ore and smoke. His vision shaped an empire. He spoke wealth, but more than that, he saw wealth, and what he saw became flesh. Walt Disney walked in swamps and saw kingdoms. He stood in barren fields and heard laughter. His vision was mocked, yet his picture was stronger than their scorn. He painted castles in the air until they stood in stone. The child who dreams with eyes open, the poet who beholds the unseen, the prophet who sees rivers and deserts. These are the true builders of the world. Vision is not imagination alone. Vision is imagination anointed with faith. Many fantasize but few envision. Fantasies drift and vanish, but vision anchors in the soul, repeated in word, nourished in faith, until the unseen becomes inevitable. A woman once came to me, lamenting her narrow room, her poor surroundings. She spoke abundance, yet she saw only lack. I told her, paint a picture in your heart of the home you desire. Walk through its rooms in your mind. See the furnishings, the light, the garden. Hold that picture steady, and your word will clothe it in substance. She obeyed. She stopped seeing the narrow room and began living in her vision. Soon, circumstances shifted, and the home appeared, almost as she had pictured. Vision unlocked what words alone could not. Scripture declares, write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie. Do you see? Vision speaks. Vision hastens to its appointed time. Vision is prophecy in picture form, and when it is written on the heart, the universe runs to fulfill it. Carl Jung taught that symbols are the language of the unconscious. Vision is the symbol that penetrates deep into the subconscious, planting seeds that words alone cannot reach. When you behold yourself rich, free, strong, whole, your subconscious obeys, and circumstances rearrange themselves accordingly. Napoleon Hill wrote of the definite chief aim, a clear mental picture of what one desires. He said that without a definite vision, no man achieves greatness, and it is true, for scattered words without vision are like arrows without a target, but words spoken into a clear vision strike with unerring aim. Consider Joseph, the dreamer. His brothers mocked his visions of rulership, yet the vision was truer than their envy. Thrown into pits, sold into slavery, cast into prison, Joseph never lost sight of the vision, and at last he ruled in Egypt, for vision could not die. So it is with you. Hold fast your vision though others scorn, though appearances contradict. Vision, nourished by word and faith, shall rise triumphant. A man once said to me, I have spoken prosperity, but I cannot picture it. I replied, then you are like a builder who speaks of a house but draws no plan. You must see what you decree. I taught him to picture himself receiving money, living in ease, sharing generously. Soon the pictures became natural, and prosperity followed. G.I. Gurdjieff taught that man lives in mechanical sleep, reacting without awareness, seeing only with outer eyes. But vision awakens the soul. Vision pierces the veil of appearances, showing you that you are not bound by the dream of matter, but free to create anew. Vision is the awakening of inner sight. Say with me now, I lift up mine eyes from the place where I am, and I see abundance, I see freedom, I see joy, I see myself walking in wealth, living in peace, dwelling in beauty. What I see, I shall have, for my vision is law. Speak it, see it, hold it. Let the picture grow brighter than the shadow. Orison Swett Marden wrote, all men who have achieved great things have been dreamers, but I say, they were more than dreamers, they were visionaries. They did not only dream by night, they envisioned by day. They saw what others denied, and they would not let go until the vision clothed itself in matter. Faith without vision is aimless. Vision without faith is powerless. Word without vision is empty. But when word, vision, and faith unite, nothing can prevent manifestation. It is the divine trinity of creation. Beloved, guard your vision as a mother guards her child. Do not speak against it. Do not let others mock it from your grasp. Hold it sacred, nurture it, rehearse it daily. Walk in it as though it were already true. For truly, it is already true in the unseen, awaiting only your steadfastness. The world calls visionaries mad until their vision stands undeniable. Columbus saw a new world while others laughed. The Wright brothers saw flight while others sneered. The prophets saw freedom while nations bowed to chains. And you, will you dare to see abundance while others cry lack? Will you dare to picture freedom while others groan in bondage? Dare, and the world will one day call you blessed. A man once pictured himself as a beggar, though he held riches in his hand. Fear clouded his sight, and he lost all. Another pictured himself as a king, though he was poor, and his faith lifted him to greatness. Vision directs destiny. Let this be your decree. I see myself rich. I see myself free. I see myself joyous. I picture abundance, and my picture becomes flesh. My vision is divine, and my world obeys it. Beloved, what do you see? What picture dwells in your mind's eye? Is it chains or wings? Is it famine or feast? Is it ruin or resurrection? Choose your vision this day, for it shall surely come to pass. Beloved, the word is seed, vision is form, faith is fire. But without right action, the seed lies unplanted, the form remains invisible, the fire burns unseen. The law of right action is the law of obedience to the divine prompt, the sacred act that embodies the word spoken, the vision held. For faith without works is dead, and vision without action is a dream that vanishes at dawn. Right action is not the fevered toil of fear, nor the restless striving of man against circumstance. Right action is the step divinely ordered, the act inspired, the movement aligned with spirit. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. When you obey the inner nudge, the still small voice, the door opens, the path clears, the miracle manifests. Many pray, many affirm, many envision, but few obey the whisper of spirit that says, "Do this now." They hesitate, they reason, they fear, and so the blessing delays. But when one moves without fear, obeying instantly, supply rushes forth. Obedience is the bridge between heaven and earth. Moses stood before the Red Sea, and the people cried out. The vision of freedom was before them, the word of deliverance spoken, yet the waters raged. Then came the command, lift up thy rod, and stretch out thine hand over the sea. Action. When Moses obeyed, the sea parted. Had he stood waiting, the vision would have drowned, but the right act, at the right time, opened the way. Right action is precision, not confusion. It is the divine timing that never fails. Noah built the ark while the sun still shone. Joseph stored grain while fields overflowed. David ran to meet Goliath, not with armor, but with a sling and a stone. The action was not man's calculation, but Spirit's direction. Right action is not haste, nor delay. It is obedience in the perfect now. Andrew Carnegie once said that the great secret of his wealth was surrounding himself with men who knew when to act and dared to act without hesitation. Napoleon Hill wrote that decisiveness is the mark of the leader, while indecision is the grave of opportunity. He was right, for indecision is disobedience in disguise. Spirit whispers, move, and fear answers, not yet. But the one who says, I move now, inherits the kingdom. Thomas Troward declared that the action of mind must express in the action of life, else it is incomplete. He taught that to impress the subconscious with a vision and then sit idle is to plant seed and refuse to water. Right action waters the seed of word and vision until harvest breaks forth. A woman once came to me, affirming wealth daily, picturing abundance, yet her purse remained empty. I asked her, what action have you taken in faith? She admitted none, for fear held her back. I told her, you must act rich to become rich. Pay the bill you fear to pay, give the gift you fear to give, step into the work you fear to claim. Right action will open the channels. She obeyed, taking one bold step, and the doors of supply swung wide. The universe delights in motion. Substance is ever flowing, circulating, moving. To hoard, to stagnate, to resist movement is to choke supply. Right action is circulation, giving and receiving, sowing and reaping. As the farmer sows seed, so must you sow action, trusting that the harvest is sure. Right action is often small, almost foolish in the eyes of men. Naaman the leper was told by Elisha to dip 7 times in Jordan. He raged at the simplicity, yet when he obeyed, his flesh was healed. The widow of Zarephath in famine was told to bake a cake for the prophet first. She feared, but she obeyed, and her barrel of meal never failed. So too with you, the small act of faith, despised by reason, unlocks a flood of miracles. Action aligned with fear is toil. Action aligned with faith is ease. The world glorifies hustle and labor, but I tell you, sweat without spirit is vanity. Right action carries no strain, for it is carried by law. The bird does not strain to fly, nor the lily to bloom, nor the sun to rise. Each fulfills its action by divine order. So too you, when you align with spirit, move without struggle, accomplishing with grace what others sweat to achieve. Swami Vivekananda said, "Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached." His words were the trumpet of right action. He taught that divine realization demands not only meditation, not only prayer, but action, fearless, relentless, until the vision is made flesh. Ella Wheeler Wilcox wrote, "The world belongs to the energetic. Yet I tell you, the world belongs not merely to the energetic, but to the divinely directed. For energy without direction is wind without sail. Right action is the sail that catches the breath of spirit and carries you to destiny." A man once dreamed of being an artist but feared to paint, saying he lacked training. I told him, "Take the brush and paint, though your hand tremble. Right action will train you." He obeyed, and talent flowed through his hand as if from another world. The act opened the channel. Talent, like wealth, like health, like joy, is released by action. Orison Swett Marden declared, "The golden opportunity you are seeking is in yourself. Right action is the key that unlocks it. Many seek opportunities outside, in chance, in fortune, in men's favor, but opportunity is released within, when you act in faith on the vision planted by spirit." Consider the early church. They prayed, they spoke the word, they held the vision of the kingdom, but they also acted. They sold their possessions, shared their bread, healed the sick, traveled the nations. Their faith was proved in action, and the world was turned upside down. Beloved, the time for waiting is over. The time for right action is now. What step has Spirit whispered to you? What door has appeared before you? What small act of obedience have you delayed? Arise, obey, and watch the floodgates open. Fear says, wait, but faith says, now. Fear asks, what if I fail? Faith declares, I cannot fail, for the law is with me. Say with me, I hear the divine command, and I obey instantly. I step forward in faith, and the way opens before me. My action is right action, my timing is divine timing, my steps are ordered, and my success is sure. Speak it, believe it, act upon it, and miracles hasten to your side. Dr. Frank Crane wrote that the world is run by those who show up. Indeed, many dream, many talk, but the few who step forth, even trembling, inherit the prize. Spirit cannot steer a ship that will not leave the dock. Launch out, and the current of divine law will carry you. Right action need not be grand. It may be a phone call, a letter, a gesture, a gift, a step. The small hinges swing wide doors. The simple act, done in faith, sets cosmic forces in motion. Never despise the little step, for it may open the palace gates. A man paralyzed by debt once came to me, unable to see a way out. I told him, take one step, pay the smallest bill in faith, release one gift in faith, action will multiply itself. He obeyed, and soon new income appeared, debts dissolved, opportunities opened. The avalanche begins with a single stone. Right action is harmony with divine law. Wrong action is resistance, haste, fear-driven toil. Examine your act. Is it born of fear or of faith? If of faith, proceed boldly. If of fear, wait until Spirit guides. For not all motion is progress, and not all stillness is delay. Right action alone bears fruit. Vision calls you higher. Word declares it. Faith burns within, but action steps upon the water. Pete. Yar saw the Lord walking upon the sea and cried, bid me come. The word was spoken, come. Vision burned within him, faith leapt in his heart, but only when his foot touched the water did the miracle manifest. He walked upon the waves. So too with you, the miracle waits for your step. Beloved, arise. Your right action awaits you now. Do not wait for the perfect plan, the flawless moment, the full assurance. Step as Spirit directs, and the rest will unfold. The Red Sea parts only when you lift the rod. The manna falls only when you walk into the wilderness. The walls fall only when you march around Jericho. Right action precedes manifestation. Say now, I move in faith, I act in courage, I obey the divine command. My right action is prosperity, my right action is healing, my right action is freedom. I walk in law, and the law fulfills my steps. Beloved, if these words have stirred you to rise in faith and act upon your vision, then mark this moment with action itself. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and in the comments declare, "My right action is now, and my wealth flows by divine right." Share this with others, that they too may step forth and unlock their destiny. For the law is eternal. Speak the word, see the vision, hold the faith, act in obedience, and the universe cannot withhold its treasure. Right action is the key that swings the door. Step forth, and the world yields. Beloved, the universe moves not in haste nor in delay, but in perfect rhythm, like the tides that follow the moon, like the seasons that follow the sun, like the stars that circle in silent harmony. There is a law of divine timing, and to know it is to rest in peace, to move in power, to trust that nothing can be early, nothing can be late, nothing can be withheld when the appointed hour strikes. Man, in fear, rushes, man, in doubt, delays, but spirit is never too soon and never too late. The promise comes at the right hour, the miracle manifests at the appointed moment. The harvest ripens not by man's demand, but by divine decree. Jesus said, "My hour is not yet come." And when the hour came, no power on earth or in hell could stop the cross, the resurrection, the glory. You have cried, "When? How long? Why do the heavens delay?" Yet I tell you, delay is not denial. The seed you planted is taking root. The harvest is swelling beneath the soil. The unseen forces are aligning. Divine timing is the womb in which the miracle grows. To pluck the fruit too soon is to eat bitterness. To wait until ripeness is to feast on sweetness. Consider the child in the womb. 9 months of silence, hidden growth, unseen development, then the appointed day, and life bursts forth. No prayer can hasten the birth without harm. No fear can delay it without struggle. So it is with your vision, your supply, your miracle. It is forming, it is ripening. It will come forth at the exact hour appointed by law. Impatience is fear. Restlessness is unbelief. Faith rests, faith trusts, faith waits without anxiety. Faith says, "It is done," even while the field looks barren. Fear digs up the seed, searching for proof, and in doing so kills the harvest. Faith leaves the seed to grow, knowing that the unseen is more real than the seen. The psalmist declared, "Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart." To wait on the Lord is not to sit idle, but to stand in expectation, to act in obedience, to trust in divine order. Waiting is not weakness but strength, the strength of stillness, the power of peace. Joseph dreamed of greatness, yet found himself sold into slavery, thrown into prison, forgotten by men. 13 years passed between his vision and his manifestation. But when the hour came, in a single day, he rose from the dungeon to the throne. Had he grasped at power earlier, he would have failed. But divine timing lifted him in perfection. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before the light bulb burned. Yet each failure was not delay but preparation, each misstep a stone upon the path. The world mocked, but he trusted the timing of discovery. At last the light shone, and darkness fled. Divine timing had fulfilled itself. Walt Disney dreamed of castles while bankrupt, ridiculed, rejected. Yet he held the vision, waited the hour, and when divine timing ripened, the dream took flesh, and the world beheld the kingdom of imagination. His delay was preparation, his failure was foundation. Timing, not chance, crowned him. Carl Jung wrote of synchronicity, the mysterious coincidence that reveals the hidden order. He saw that events align in meaning, not in chaos, that the hour of manifestation is written by spirit. He glimpsed divine timing in the weave of destiny, and knew that nothing is random, nothing is wasted. Swami Vivekananda declared that patience is strength. He knew that to rush is weakness, to force is folly, to wait in power is mastery. He said, "Everything comes to us that belongs to us if we create the capacity to receive it, and the capacity is formed in waiting, in preparation, in trust." The farmer does not cry, "Why has my field not yielded in one day?" He knows the law of season. He sows in spring, he waits through summer, he harvests in autumn. So too you. Sow in faith, act in obedience, wait in peace, reap in joy. The law cannot be broken. Beloved, fear tells you, time is running out. Faith tells you, time is working for me. Fear cries, I am late. Faith declares, I am in perfect timing. Fear says, it will never happen. Faith proclaims, it is done, and it shall appear in its appointed season. Which word will you believe? Annie Ricks Millets taught that the divine supply is always ready, but man must be ready to receive. Readiness is the key. Readiness is formed in waiting, in trusting, in aligning. The blessing cannot enter a vessel unprepared. The vessel must be cleansed, widened, strengthened. The waiting is the preparation of the vessel. A woman once came to me weeping, for her promised marriage had not come, her wealth had not appeared. She feared she was forgotten by God. I told her, "You are not forgotten. The blessing is forming. The channels are aligning. Trust the timing. Prepare yourself in faith, in joy, in readiness. Do not rush. Do not despair." Months later, the man appeared. The wealth flowed. The promise was fulfilled. At the perfect hour. Beloved, say now, "I rest in divine timing. I am never late, never early. My supply comes at the perfect hour. My miracle ripens in perfect season. I trust the law. I trust the Lord. I trust the unseen order." Napoleon Hill wrote, "Patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success." Yet I tell you, patience and persistence alone are not enough without divine timing. Many toil in wrong season, and their effort is wasted. But when the season ripens, little effort bears great fruit. To act in divine timing is to act in grace. G.I. Gurdjieff spoke of conscious labor, of waiting in awareness, of bearing the tension of opposites until the higher reality emerged. He understood the secret of timing. To endure the waiting without distraction, to hold the vision without wavering, to trust the unfolding without force. Beloved, divine timing is not delay, but orchestration. It is the conductor leading the symphony of your life. Each note enters at its exact moment, and the music is perfect. If you rush the note, discord. If you delay it, disharmony. But when each enters in time, beauty fills the air. So it is wapu. Gowa. Yobya abiwaots. With your miracle. Have you not seen how chance meetings alter destiny? How one word spoken at the right hour changes a life. How one door opens, not by effort, but by timing? These are not accidents, but the fingerprints of divine order. Trust them, expect them, bless them. Right action prepares the field. Divine timing ripens the fruit. Right action builds the ark. Divine timing brings the flood. Right action plants the seed. Divine timing sends the rain. They work together as one law. You cannot have one without the other. Beloved, do not compare your season to another's. Each flower blooms in its appointed time. The rose does not envy the lily, nor the oak the pine. Each has its hour, and each fulfills it perfectly. So too you, your timing is not another's, your destiny is not another's. Your hour will not fail. Fear not the years that seem wasted, the prayers that seem unanswered, the doors that seem shut. All is preparation, all is alignment. When the hour strikes, the years vanish in a moment. Joseph's prison years vanished in one day of exaltation. Sarah's barrenness vanished in one laugh of joy. The waiting melts when the promise appears. Say with me, I bless the divine timing of my life. I release all haste, all fear, all doubt. I trust that every step, every delay, every pause is divine preparation. My good comes swiftly at the perfect hour, and nothing can stop it. Beloved, the law of non-resistance is the law of victory. The moment you cease to fight against appearances, the moment you release struggle and cease pushing against the shadows, heaven's floodgates swing open and supply rushes forth. Resistance is fear. Resistance is the grasping of man's will. Resistance is the clenched fist that cannot receive. But non-resistance is faith. Non-resistance is surrender. Non-resistance is the open hand ready to receive miracles. Jesus taught this law in words the world has scarcely understood. Resist not evil. Matthew 5:39. He did not mean bow to injustice, nor yield to oppression. He meant do not give energy to appearances. Do not fight shadows. Do not chain yourself to the illusion of power where there is none. To resist is to magnify, but to release is to dissolve. That which you resist persists. That which you bless transforms. That which you release returns as good. Imagine the rushing river. The rock resists and is worn down. The reed bends and rises again. The bird does not resist the wind, but spreads its wings and rides the current. So too must you bend, release, yield to the divine flow. Resistance wears out the soul. Non-resistance lifts it into flight. Fear builds walls. Faith opens doors. Resistance builds walls of steel around the heart, but non-resistance opens every gate. A wall of fear keeps supply away. A door of faith lets it flow in. The universe is a flowing stream of substance, and only the unclenched hand, only the yielded heart, only the spirit of non-resistance can drink from it. Thomas Troward, the great metaphysician, declared, "The law of flotation was not discovered by the contemplation of sinking things, but by contemplating floating things." So it is with life. You do not rise by fighting against sinking, you rise by aligning with floating. You do not prosper by resisting lack, you prosper by flowing in abundance. Beloved, your resistance is but faith in fear. Every time you say, I will not fail, your word is secretly resisting failure, and failure is magnified. But when you say, I live in victory now, you do not resist failure, you transcend it. You rise above the duality and dwell in divine reality. Orison Swett, Martin wrote, there is no medicine like hope, no incentive so great, no tonic so powerful as expectation of something better tomorrow. Expectation is non-resistance, the quiet knowing that the good is already on its way. Despair is resistance, the doubting of divine law, the clenching of the soul. Beloved, hear me, you are not called to fight shadows, fear, lack, sickness, these are shadows on the wall. To fight them is to strike the air, to resist them is to give them weight, but to turn on the light is to dissolve them without struggle. Non-resistance is turning on the light. Non-resistance is standing in the truth that God is the only power, and appearances are but mists before the sun. Consider water, that most yielding of elements. It resists nothing, yet wears away mountains. It yields, yet conquers. It flows, yet carves canyons. So too the soul in non-resistance, soft to appearances, unyielding in truth, flowing in faith, conquering by surrender. Ella Wheeler. Wilcox sang, Lo, let me live my life from year to year, with forward face and unreluctant soul. This is non-resistance, the unreluctant soul, the forward face, the yielding trust. The resistant soul looks backward, clinging to past pains, replaying past fears. The non-resistant soul moves forward, letting the past fall away, knowing that all things are working together for good. Napoleon Hill taught, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Non-resistance sees the seed, resistance clings to the husk, non-resistance extracts the blessing, resistance mourns the loss. Which will you choose? Beloved, say with me now, I resist not appearances, I give no power to shadows, I bless and release all that has gone before, I stand in the flow of divine abundance, nothing is against me, all is for me, all is with me, all is working for my highest good. Dr. Frank Crane declared that worry is the futile attempt to resist tomorrow's unknown. Worry is resistance to the unseen. But faith odds. Non-resistance, the surrender into tomorrow's mystery, the trust that tomorrow is already blessed, the knowing that provision is already waiting. Do you not see that resistance is the very root of poverty? The man who fears lack resists spending, clutches money, and strangles supply. The woman who fears sickness resists life, resists freedom, and draws illness closer. The soul that fears loneliness resists trust, resists joy, and drives away love. Fear is resistance. Love is non-resistance. Jesus said, Whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. This is not weakness, but power. To turn the other cheek is to say, You cannot touch my peace, you cannot bind my joy, you cannot enter my spirit. Non-resistance robs the enemy of fuel. Resistance feeds him. Non-resistance starves him. Andrew Carnegie, master of wealth, once said that success is to cooperate with the inevitable. This is non-resistance, to see what must be, to flow with it, to align with it, and to let it serve you. The man who resists the inevitable breaks, the man who aligns with it rises. Beloved, the spirit of non-resistance is the spirit of forgiveness. To forgive is not to condone, but to release. Forgiveness dissolves resistance, removes blockage, opens channels. To hold resentment is to resist the past, to bind yourself to the old. But to forgive is to let go, to free yourself, to open the door of blessing. Forgiveness is non-resistance to life. Carl Jung declared that what you resist not only persists, but grows stronger. He spoke a metaphysical truth. Resistance is energy, and what you give energy to expands. Release it, bless it, and it withers. Resist it, and it blooms. Choose this day which you will feed. Beloved, the law is simple. What you fight, you strengthen. What you release, you dissolve. What you bless, you transform. Stand in this truth, and you will never struggle again. Swami Vivekananda spoke, Take up one idea. Make that one idea your life. When you live in non-resistance, you hold your idea on. The calm focus, not with fear's grip. The seed of vision blossoms in the soil of peace, not in the soil of struggle. Non-resistance waters it with trust. Consider again the Master on the cross. He resisted not the nails, resisted not the jeers, resisted not the spear. Yet in that yielding, he conquered death, he shattered the grave, he rose triumphant. Non-resistance did not weaken him, it crowned him. He yielded, and therefore ruled. Beloved, say now, I let go, I yield to divine order. I resist not evil, for God is the only power. I flow like water, I rise like the reed, I conquer by yielding. Nothing can harm me, nothing can bind me, nothing can block me, for I resist not, I release, I receive. And now, if this word has spoken to your spirit, if you feel the burden of struggle dissolve and the flow of peace return, then seal this truth with faith. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and declare in the comments, I resist not, I release, and my good flows to me now by divine right. Share this message with another soul who struggles, that they too may learn the law of release, the secret of non-resistance, the path of victory. For the truth is eternal, he who resists shall fall, but he who yields shall rise. Non-resistance is the law of conquest, the law of flow, the law of peace. Resist not, release all, and abundance shall flood your life without struggle, without effort, without end. Beloved, manifestation is not a miracle of chance, it is law. Just as the seed must blossom when planted in fertile soil, so must your word bear fruit when spoken in faith. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. Isaiah 55:11. Do you not see? Every word is a seed, and manifestation is the inevitable harvest. Man has been deceived by appearances, bewitched by delays, blinded by shadows. He says, I prayed, but nothing happened. Yet manifestation is not delayed, it is simply unfolding in divine order. The oak does not spring up in a day, yet in the acorn, the mighty tree already exists. So too your answered prayer exists, here and now, in the invisible, waiting only for your faith to water it, your gratitude to shine upon it, your non-resistance to clear the soil. The law is perfect, the law is sure, what you decree shall be established unto you. You are the sower, your word is the seed, your faith is the soil, your gratitude is the sunlight, your expectancy is the rain, your non-resistance is the open field, and manifestation, harvest, is as certain as the dawn. Beloved, you are already manifesting. Every thought clothed in feeling, every word released with conviction, every vision held in the mind's eye is manifesting. The question is not whether you manifest, but what you manifest. Fear manifests lack. Doubt manifests delay. Worry manifests sickness. But faith manifests wealth. Gratitude manifests joy. Praise manifests healing. Thomas Edison, before the first electric lamp burned, said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That persistence was manifestation in process. The lamp already existed in the unseen, waiting for his faith to pierce the veil. And when faith and action met, the lamp blazed forth. So too with you. The thing you seek already exists. You need not create it, only align with it. Beloved, manifestation is alignment. You do not force the sun to rise. You only open your window to its light. You do not manufacture the tide. You only step into its rhythm. You do not make supply. You align with the endless river of substance already flowing. Manifestation is the art of alignment, the practice of agreement with God. Walt Disney walked barren fields and empty swamps and saw castles, kingdoms, laughter, and joy. Men mocked him, called him a dreamer, yet he saw with the inner eye. And today, millions walk in the vision he held, for vision is the seed of manifestation. Hold your vision, beloved. See it as already done, live in it, walk in it, rejoice in it, and soon the invisible shall put on flesh. Christian D. Larson declared, believe in yourself, for you have within you every power that you will ever need. Beloved, manifestation is not far off, it is within. The kingdom of God is within you. What you decree within shall appear without. The inner creates the outer. The invisible rules the visible. Do not say, when I see, I will believe. Say, because I believe, I shall see. For faith precedes sight. Faith precedes manifestation. Jesus said, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Mark 11:24. Note the tense. Believe you have received, and manifestation follows. The believing comes first. The receiving follows. The inner must be claimed before the outer can be seen. Beloved, let go of struggle. Manifestation is not toil. You cannot push the bud into bloom. You cannot force the dawn to break. You cannot hammer the seed into harvest. Manifestation is not work. It is law. It is the effortless unfolding of divine order. Rest in this. Speak your word, release it, rejoice in it, and manifestation will appear without strain. Andrew Carnegie built his empire not by resistance, but by vision and trust in law. He saw wealth where others saw coal dust. He saw abundance where others saw labor. He aligned with the river of supply, and manifestation rushed forth. Ella Wheeler Wilcox wrote, "Always continue the climb. It is possible for you to do whatever you choose, if you first get to know who you are and are willing to work with a power that is greater than ourselves." This is manifestation, the partnership of man and God, the union of finite will with infinite supply. Beloved, the universe is not stingy. The Father's house has many mansions, and there is room for you. Substance is infinite, supply is endless, good is boundless. Manifestation is not a battle for scraps. It is the banquet table already spread. Poverty is but man's illusion, lack but man's blindness. Remove the veil, and abundance streams forth. Consider the lilies. They toil not, neither do they spin, yet Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Why? Because the lily lives in divine order. It resists not, it struggles not, it trusts the sun, the soil, the rain, and manifestation clothes it in splendor. Beloved, hear this. The thing you desire already exists in the unseen. Your wealth, your health, your love, your joy, they are already finished, already complete, already yours. You are not creating, you are receiving. You are not manufacturing, you are aligning. Manifestation is not making, it is revealing. Prentice Mulford, prophet of the New Thought, declared, "The thought is the unseen magnet, ever attracting its correspondence in things seen and tangible." Beloved, your thought is the magnet, your word the command, your faith the mold, and substance, divine, formless, obedient, rushes to take shape. Napoleon Hill spoke, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Manifestation is the bridge from conception to demonstration. Conceive it in mind, believe it in heart, and life must outpicture it in form." Beloved, say with me now, "I am the sower of divine seeds. My word is planted in rich soil. My faith waters it. My gratitude shines upon it. My expectancy calls the rain. My non-resistance clears the field. And my harvest comes forth now, rich, ripe, overflowing, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, by divine right. Do not ask when. The harvest comes in right timing. Do not ask how. The law is its own way. Your part is faith, your part is joy, your part is trust. The seed knows how to bloom, the sun knows how to rise, the tide knows how to return, manifestation knows how to appear. Beloved soul, take your eyes off appearances. Look not to lack, look not to delay, look not to fear. Lift up your eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh your help. Your help comes not from man, nor from chance, nor from struggle. Your help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth, whose law never fails, whose abundance never ends. So now I ask you, what will you manifest? Will you speak fear and reap want, or will you speak faith and reap overflow? Will you cling to shadows, or will you release them and step into light? The choice is not afar off. It is here, now, upon your lips. Speak it, beloved. Speak your word. Speak it boldly. Speak it joyfully. Speak it as already done. For as you decree, so shall it be. Your word is the wand, your faith the fire, your gratitude the song, and manifestation the inevitable harvest. Therefore I say unto you, fear blocks wealth, but faith releases overflow. Speak faith, and watch heaven open. Speak abundance, and watch doors swing wide. Speak joy, and watch sorrow flee. Speak love, and watch loneliness dissolve. Speak the word, and your world shall change. Now, beloved soul, if this message has awakened you, if the law of manifestation has lit a fire in your spirit, then seal it in faith. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and declare in the comments, my word manifests, I speak abundance, and abundance is mine now, by divine right. Share this message with another soul, that they too may rise from fear to faith, from lack to overflow, from shadow to light. For this is the eternal truth. Your word creates your world, your faith commands your harvest, your God is the infinite supply, and manifestation is the law of Li. Fi. Speak it, believe it, expect it, and receive it, and it is so.